Welcome everyone to today's meeting of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting will be a tape broadcast later in WRPS. The listings of the matter, those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permissible by law. Can I get a motion to open the meeting?
Make a motion, open the meeting.
Do I have a second?
She didn't open the door. 6 seconds.
I opened all the doors so some air would circulate.
Oh, yeah.
I make a motion, put some windows in this place. It opened.
We have-
There with Park Street and Howard and someone
Yep,
else's.
we have a motion to open the meeting, we need a second.
Oh, second.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Mr. Ashland's a
Who
yes.
made the motion to open?
Dan.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the working session minutes of 4:25, 5:2, and 5:9. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Ashland's a yes. That's for April 25th, May 2nd, and May 9th. Abatements, Robin.
All right, I have 2 abatements. I'm sorry, let me familiarize myself with this again. Oh, so he had a pipe burst in his basement, he had a plumber come over, he
Who's
submitted.
this? What address?
Oh, I'm sorry. 340 Center Ave, number 5. He had a plumber come over, he has the invoice, he has his insurance company came over, they had to pump the water out of the basement so it didn't go into the sewer system. So his bill, gave me a lot of paperwork. His bill was $217.48, he's usually less than the minimum, so when I went back and averaged, I would have to bring it up to the minimum, and to do that, the abatement would be $162.48.
I make the motion that we approve the abatement for 340 Center Ave at 162.48.
I second it.
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Ashland's a yes.
Okay, thank you for that. So this next abatement is an odd one. So Target Corporation is in Abington, I manually bill them for sewer in Rockland. So Abington has them set up with a dummy account number. So that's where they put the consumption, I go and read it, and then I bill them in the correct account number. Except the last time I did that, Target just called looking for their bill. I had billed the dummy account by mistake. So I just realized that today. So the amount is $197,650 that I need to abate from the incorrect bill and put it on the correct bill. It's really just a switch it up, but
Switch around.
you're gonna see an abatement for 1976, so,
And then bill to the correct account.
right.
I make a motion, we approve that abatement for
Second.
$1,976. Have a second, all in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Mr. Ashland's a yes.
Thank you.
We're gonna go into Robin's administrative later, so we can get to the connections. Beechwood Estates. This is a response to a letter that the board sent Mr. Farrell about a permit that they had in place, and just wanted to know what was gonna transpire with that. So with that, you're on.
Oh, thank you. I'm David Farrell, current chairman of the Board of Trustees, Beechwood Village. To my left is Skip Damon, who will be taking over as chairman very shortly. We received a letter from the Town of Rockland Sewer Commission saying they would be willing to extend the permit for sewerage for, I think it's roughly 24 units that are not built at this point, obviously. And we would like to respond to the letter, and we would like to have the permit extended for 1 more year. To give you a report, since the last time we were here, we had reported that we were currently in a court case with U.S. Alliance Federal Credit Union. The court case being that we own the building, we own the land, which is currently vacant, and the bank owns the building rights. So both the HOA, Beechwood Village, and the bank went to court seeking, we wanted the building rights and they wanted the land rights. So one person could control what was happening there. We've since our last meeting received a ruling from the courts, and it's status quo. Beechwood Village Homeowners Association owns the land. US Alliance Federal Credit Union owns the building rights. So the long and short of it is, they can't build without our permission, and we can't build without their permission. We have negotiated with them in the past. Unfortunately, we couldn't reach a mutual agreement, which means there's been no building going on. In the foreseeable future, I can say we don't see anything immediately being done there. I don't even know if there'll be anything done within a year, because again, both parties have to agree to whatever we bargain. Since that time also, if you remember when I was here, we said that if Beechwood Village did gain the rights to build there, we would only build enough units to get money to build our roads. We were left without any roads.
That was 12 units, if I recall, was that?
That's what we would think we would need to build the roads, that's correct. And I stated at the time, the bank would probably wanna build all 24 units out, because they were going for the maximum money. Since that time, the residents of Beechwood Village voted to put the roads in themselves. So we built the roads ourselves at our cost. That kind of eliminates the need to sell those lots to build roads. Doesn't mean that the homes might not be built. At the current time, the residents did vote not to build any homes, and the Board of Trustees have voted not to build homes. But we, in good faith, have to bargain with the bank if they approach us about building there. They have not approached us recently. And I think I told you last time we met, they were looking for $2 million from us to obtain the building rights, which at the time, the cost of the property, we had a realtor look at, it was like 2.5 million. So it was not a fair deal according to us. But we do have a legal obligation to the bank and a moral obligation to our residents to ask for this extension for a year. Whether anything gets done or not, I can't say. I'm not a mind reader. I don't know who will be on the board 6 months from now, or what the residents 6 months from now might wanna do. And again, we haven't heard from the bank, so.
Now, if I recall, aren't the stubs already in place
The stubs are in place
for the entire development?
for the entire development.
Okay, the only, for myself, I would not have a problem for the 1-year extension. What you do have to realize is, we bent over to grant this because we're under a very strict administrative order now from the EPA. We have a moratorium in place. We looked at you as being grandfathered in, but we couldn't guarantee the old rates. What I would recommend the board to do, and it's totally up for discussion, is grant them the 1 year, as we said in the letter, at the rates that were applicable at the time in 2021. If you have plans, if you have plans in place that are ready a year from now, then we could put you on the waiting list.
I'm not sure that's the right course to take, and bear with me, because my understanding is you have no plans to build in the next year.
We have no plans to build at the current time. Again,
Right.
I'll state that 6 months from now, we could have
Yeah,
a
I
new board of
understand.
trustees and
Yeah, it's up to
residents
some
that
other
decide to
people.
do it. I think the biggest thing from our point of view, again, is a moral obligation to our unit owners to at least hold that open in case they do want to change. The more important thing, and this is after talking to our lawyer, I wouldn't want to see anybody put in a legal bind, so that if we have a year extension and we can't negotiate, and according to your letter, after the end of the year, or you just explained, after the year, we would go on a wait list, which could be 2 years, 5 years, 8 years, whatever.
It could be, but you'd have to have drawings, shovel-ready projects.
Right, but again, what we're trying to protect is if, and I'm not a lawyer, I did talk to our lawyer, if this was just denied right now, I don't know what stance the bank would take about taking their rights away that they could possibly build and get money out of that property.
Dan, you have anything to say?
We give you the extension, but what happens after a year?
Well, according to the letter, it looks like we'd go on a waiting list. That's, I
I mean,
can't,
is the bank gonna give you the money?
the bank doesn't wanna give us anything. The bank wants us to give them money to build. So you can understand why we're not willing to agree with their negotiations at this time. And again, we have not heard from the bank in over a year.
Well, just to show how this is dragged out, technically, a permit's only good for 2 years.
Right.
So the permit is really only good for 2 years. I'm not opposed so much to extending the permit, but we are now in a totally different situation than we were even 4 years ago, whereby we have to remediate infiltration and inflow. We're under a mandate by the EPA. And the board has increased connection costs to cover just that remediation. If, for example, you were to move in and move forward with building plans within the next year, keeping at previous year's assessed fees are not gonna cover what we are now mandated to do. So perhaps we could certainly extend the permit, but put it at current fees.
Well,
Particularly since you don't really have plans in place yet.
Yeah, there's nothing in
We
place, I
don't
can tell you
know.
that, there's
Yeah.
nothing in place.
We don't know what you.
I respectfully disagree, because what I wanna do is be consistent. We approved them and put them in the same boat as 2 other projects at a rate of 2021. If they come back and they're not ready in a year, I'd say all the new fees apply to them in full. But I think we should hold to the 2021 fees. They're not ready yet.
Okay.
In all likelihood, they won't be, from the sounds of it. So I would say that I would lean to extend them the year at the 2021 rate. If they feel they cannot do that at that point, then they come back. They could be on the waiting list, but it's at the new fees.
Is it on a waiting list or is it approached as a new project?
Well, remember now, we said, I would say it'd be a new project.
I would agree.
I would say a new project.
So you will fall into whatever other projects are pending at the time.
But we'll keep it open for the year.
I do have a question, and this is just because I'm not familiar with all the circumstances when this happened. It was obviously before my time. Are all the zoning permits and conservation permits, planning permits, anything in place for that? Or
The question I
are these
had is,
unknown 24 units?
the one question, I'm glad you brought that up. If I remember right, there was an issue on water.
We have a letter from the water department that the permits are still there in place. Same
Okay.
as the sewer department voted, because it was an existing project. And they
Okay.
understood that we had no control over
Mhm.
building or no building, other than through negotiations.
You comfortable?
Okay.
All right, I would make a motion that we extend the permit for 1 year to May 18th of 2024, under the rates of 2021 when they first approached us. If you're not ready at that time, then it would be considered a new project. The stubs are in place.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Ross, how you vote?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Ashens, yes, okay.
No,
Well, that's the best we could do
Yeah,
for 1
no,
year.
no, we appreciate that. Again, the 1-year extension is perfectly fair. We understand the situations you're in.
And I appreciate your circumstances.
Yeah, and
so-
but what I wanna do is I also wanna give you a copy of a letter that was sent to the, we sent to the planning board last month, so you, pretty much just explains our situation right now,
Okay.
so. But thank you very much.
Well, very good. Thank you very much.
Hey, lots of luck, I hope that things turn out better than they have been.
Well,
for you.
we're,
It's been a long
I
ride.
hate to say we're happy where we are right now. We have new roads. We're not happy that we had to pay for them instead of the developer, but we're happy with everything it is at the moment. Again, we have an obligation to bargain with the bank if they seek us out.
Understood.
All right, thank you very much for your time and effort.
Thank you.
Have a nice night.
This
Did
sounds
you do
great.
the second on that? Was that you?
That was Dan.
Oh, Dan.
Thank you.
That's all right. Put it in.
Beechwood.
She was here.
Thank you, gentlemen from Park and Howard. Let's move on up to the complete grandstand.
Robin, would you mind passing this down?
Thank you.
Gentlemen, we have a sign-in sheet for you.
Yeah, let me move this.
I wanna do
Is that yours?
That's all me. like to give you gentlemen a copy of that, my same letter I gave to this. This is a letter that was sent to the planning board last month explaining our situation.
Okay.
They were well aware of it, but we just wanted to clarify it.
What's the flow today?
Huh? 2.3, 2.2. With that, you're on.
Good evening, members of the Rockland Sewer Commission, everyone else who is here. My name is Attorney Michael O'Shaughnessy. I'm here today with Bill Cushing and Rich Lanian. We are interested in developing the property at the corner of Park and Howard Street. I think that project was previously before you folks as a 36-unit 40B project 2-3 years ago, whatever the number was. Anyways,
Can I just ask you one question,
Sure.
clarify in my head? You're looking at the one that's on the corner, not the former vacant warehouse?
we are on the, I think we
Right
are
on the
the
corner of Park
warehouse.
and Howard, not the warehouse that was on Park Street.
So on the corner of Park and Howard, there was a 20,000 square foot building
Right.
there with a big stack coming out of it.
Right,
The town asked the sellers to tear it down.
so that's the lot you're talking about?
Yeah, they tore it
Okay.
down. The one across the street where there was a burn down, the EPA cleaned it up, is
Yeah.
something separate.
Okay, great. That's
What is your address then for this property?
81 Park and
Okay.
was it 224 Howard,
Yeah.
whatever the numbers
Okay.
are. We are interested in pursuing a development there under the downtown Rockland revitalization zoning district or whatever it is. We had a meeting earlier this week with members of the planning board and zoning board, building inspector and a couple other local officials. And we had presented to them a plan for 66 units. It would have been a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom units, about 3 stories high, parking under. I apologize, I had plans to bring, it was at meetings all day and I left them in my office, so otherwise I'd be able to show them to you. But basically, to move forward with our project, we need to have some certainty that there's sewer available, and I know you folks have problems with sewer right now. So we're here to kind of figure out where we are, would be on your list, if we have any grandfathering rights under your previous approval for the 40B. Right now, the project that we had presented to them was for 102 units, 102 bedrooms, I'm sorry. And that'll probably get reduced slightly as we move forward with our design. If we went forward under that project, you'd be getting almost 500,000 in sewer development fees, and I'm just basing it off the 2023 schedule here. I came out like 200 plus for sewer repair and maintenance fees, and then I have 800,000 for the sewer engineering and I&I removal fees. But in reviewing your regulations, your sewer use ordinance, it seems that you folks may have areas of town where you have identified that needed remediation. I think right now it's our preference, if you folks have that, we prefer to create the space for us to connect through replacement of whatever lines needed to be remediated. Right now at 102 bedrooms, we're figuring it's gonna be 11,000 gallons per day, so we'd have to remediate, 110,000 gallons, thereabouts. That's the math we're kinda coming up with. Right now, we're in our due diligence phase. So if you tell us no, go pound sand, we're basically we're telling our seller, no, we can't go through with it, cause we can't do it, we need sewer, there's no other way to do it. I think this particular project, it's being done under the 40R, there's some benefit to the town as well. They'll get $3,000 per approved unit. We think it's gonna drive some more development downtown. We think it'll be a good asset. Like I said, I apologize for not having the boards here, but it's gonna be a good looking building. We've met briefly with the water folks. They seem to say they could service us, so you folks are our next stop on the list. But with that being said, I'd be happy to hear what you have to say.
Again, we're trying to be consistent. I mean, I don't wanna see any vacant property in town. we are under administrative order.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, our 12-month rolling average is at 2.6 million gallons a day. Our permit is at a 2.5 million gallons.
Mm-hmm.
We have work out there right now, I&I rehabilitation work, which the SSES study identified 219,000 gallons we could capture. Further investigation indicated only 112 of that is cost effective to go after, which we're trying to do right now. We have projects that were pre-approved to the moratorium that account for 30,000 gallons of I&I, which means we've got to remove 312 to be in compliance. If we take out that 112 that we're doing, I'm still 200,000 gallons in the hole.
Do you folks, I started flipping through the Wright Pierce stuff. I didn't see any study that right now that has areas specifically identified.
We're doing that right now.
So you're in the process
What
of
we're
doing
doing
that.
is we have a rehabilitation project going out there,
Mhm.
ongoing. Piggyback on that, we have what we call our 1-year monitoring program that we install 15 meters around different sections of towns. And what that's going to do is identify areas of potential high flow. Once those areas are identified, we still have to go in and pinpoint the I&I and find out if it's feasible to go after.
So you guys haven't run any cameras down any lines? You
We're doing
haven't
that
had,
right
you
now.
haven't done any sewer studies,
We're
any
doing-
sewer
we have
flows?
done-
You're in the process
We've
of
done
doing that right
sewer
now?
studies in 8, 11, 13, and in 21.
Right.
The 21 study was found the 219,000 gallons, excuse me. The project we're doing now is additional camera work, repair work,
Right.
sealing work, what have you. I know from what they've accomplished to date, and I'll be going in a little later, that they think they have removed out of 112, they think they've removed possibly 50,000 gallons.
Mm-hmm.
We've still got a big elephant to fry. I mean, the EPA has already came in and told us last June that we are going to be fined for violating the 2006 administrative order. They have not said how much. I think what they're doing, in my opinion, is watching how we handle this current order. This new one has strict conditions in it that we have to meet. I would love to say we could accommodate that project right now, but the flows are just not there. I mean, we're looking at, let's face it, we've had a dry month, we're still at 2.5 million, 2.6 million.
Is your issues in
Comfortable
your
adding anything until that 12-month rolling average is at least down to 2.3, 2.2.
so are your issues in your infrastructure or your plant?
Well, both, but mostly in the infrastructure right now. The plant, we've handled up to $6 million gallons a day.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the infrastructure. If it rains, our flows, and Rick is our plant manager and Megan's the assistant manager, they will tell you, and tell me if I'm wrong, but they've seen it double if just in a rainstorm.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
familiar with Rockland.
The infrastructure's been ignored basically for 20 years.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not an unusual tale.
No,
I'm
it's not.
dealing with another municipality as well. But you guys don't have a sense of a priority area or anything like that? I know.
We have not, no, to be honest with you, right now, no. I have a gut feeling, but until I see the data, I'm not gonna.
And right
But
Pierce-
even when that's done, we have 4 projects ahead of you that have to connect. And
Sure.
There is one other developer that was in, and he's not on the waiting list yet.
May I ask a question? You said 4 projects ahead of us? What projects are those?
365 Concord,
Yep.
320 Concord, Beechwood Estates, which is previous, just in,
Yeah, each one.
Menzella Court.
Dyer Street.
I thought
pardon me?
Dyer Street.
Dyer Street hasn't connected yet, correct? They've been approved, but they haven't connected yet. And Holy Family is right next in line. They haven't brought in their fridge yet.
So so I saw Beechwood earlier come in, shortly ago. He's not even sure.
No, he's not. But in all fairness, we need him fresh.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, when the 40B came in front of you guys in 2017, and they met with you, when you figured out.
40B for Park Hard never came before us with Prince.
But you have it was on your list. I mean,
But if you don't cover Prince, it means nothing. Projects change like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Beechwood Estates, for example, they got their permit originally in 2005.
yeah,
It should have been a 2-year limit, they didn't even have Prince.
yeah. So I guess that's my question. So these projects that are outstanding, I mean, obviously, sometimes when you say they're ahead, not that have they all given you prints
They've all given Prince, have all been approved.
and
Formally approved.
they're pulling permits for construction.
They are probably in the line, I don't know if they pulled permits for construction yet, to be honest with you. All I know is they've given us plans that have been approved through the various boards. But they've given us physical plans.
So they've been approved through the whatever it was zoning board, planning.
Zoning board, planning board, water.
Okay.
There's still no connectivity for them to the sewer system at this time, so.
Say that again, please?
They're not able to connect to the sewer
No.
system at this time. It's just a
with-
limit.
Once we ascertain, once we get that 112,000 out, we're gonna allow them to connect, just to get them off the waiting list. And we're still gonna be 200,000 gallons in the hole.
Have you received your approval from zoning and the other boards, or is that still in the works?
Well, so basically where we're at, we're in the due diligence stage, and, we just kinda met with department heads, you know, no one.
Discussions.
No one for sewer came, it was like everybody else, but sewer didn't come, and actually water wasn't there.
You met with the boards, the various boards?
Not the boards, just department heads. You know, the town of Rockland, I guess they were supposed to notify everybody, and then we, had a meeting, we brought some renderings and all that good stuff, and then that was 3 days ago, and here we are now, so I guess, you know, this project, you know, so the sellers, you know, tore that building down. I know it has nothing to do with you, they didn't have to, but the town asked them to, and they did it, right? It was a 20,000 square foot building, it was dilapidated. It was an eyesore. What's there now is actually an eyesore, but that was more of an eyesore. And I guess what I'm saying is, when you guys, before you set this moratorium in play, you had known that 40B was approved, right? And I have a list.
No, it was not approved.
Well, I don't know who created this. Let me see. Hold on, sorry.
I think the selectmen did that.
Who created this right here? Do you want to pass it around?
I have no idea.
That's, so I got that on the,
Previous wait list?
So it was our belief that we had some,
This is, yes, but this doesn't show that it's approved. It's future projects under discussion, but
Yes.
have not
We've
formally
got
begun the
several future
application
projects and no one's
process.
brought in Prince.
So this is just an eyes-on,
This is giving us a
This
heads up
doesn't
of
say
what's
it's
potentially
approved.
out there.
this
Yeah.
is not an approval.
so no, I know it's not an approval. I mean, you don't get an approval until you, I mean, no one comes in for a sewer application until they start construction, am I correct? You know what I mean? So to say, when you say you.
No, is that really
That's-
correct?
no, that's not
no.
correct.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, you wanna correct me?
They have to come in and get approved before they start connecting. They can go to the other boards, but they still have to come to sewer before they break ground.
And so you're saying the prior applicants never saw the sewer commission at any meeting whatsoever, whether
No,
informally
no,
or
they don't,
formally?
no.
Okay.
so, given that you have 4 projects and you're trying to clear out your queue, what's the, do you have a time frame that you're working around? That you're considering? Is it a year, is it 18 months, are we talking 5 years, 10 years?
Right now, we sent a letter to planning, zoning, the building department that we're not even taking applications for a year till we find out where we are on this I&I work.
Okay. So the fact that this particular project is in an area that the town's trying to develop, it doesn't give any more credence to benefit to a project in your eyes.
No,
Than
because
anything else.
there's other
Doesn't-
projects, there's another project in town doing the same thing.
Sure.
So,
Doesn't change the flow to
No, I understand that.
Please
Listen, I'm
watch
sympathetic, I get
Watch the
exactly.
camera.
Oh, I keep, that's what you're pointing at. I'm
Jeez.
sympathetic for where you guys are coming from, because like I said, I'm dealing with another town. But in reading the ordinance, I thought you were further along with your studies, and it sounds like you actually
No,
are.
we, believe me, we've taken on an extremely aggressive approach. And if we could double it up, we would. I mean, we've gone broke just to where we are right now, doing these studies.
Oh, yeah.
But the big one now is, once this meter, like I said, we're doing some repair work now, it's gonna allow us to get rid of the 4 we have been pending for the last 2 years. The study that's also ongoing out there is gonna identify other areas of town that have potential high priority of I&I. At that point, when they say, yes, it's part, section A, section B, section C, we've gotta fund another study to go in and find that, pinpoint it, and find out if it's cost effective to repair.
Well, I understand that, so you guys are doing a lot of guessing, is basically what it is. And-
We can't say anything till we,
Yeah. Is there a section of line, but it sounds to me like infrastructure just needs to be rehabbed all over. Does your engineer, would they be able to say, this is what we think is the worst case? Because quite frankly, I think you're spending more money on studies than actually fixing the problem. And again, this is based on other towns.
well, I wish I had a crystal ball to say the problem's right over there.
But
Yeah.
do you, like, I used to work construction, all this other stuff, so I'm like, if I have a manhole here and a manhole there, my engineer would say, how much do you think that could resolve? And then just go replace the line.
What if it's not leaking?
Well, that's what I'm saying, the engineers or the operators
We got
typically
cameras
have
out there right now, we're identifying it. Then we gotta go back, figure out how much is it gonna cost.
But if you were able to identify it and quantify it, and we came to you folks and said, we'll replace that on our dime instead of repairing or paying the fees, is that something
So
that
I
you'd be
bumped
interested in?
Someone who came in ahead of you
Yeah.
because you can afford it.
It's not, well, I don't think what he's
Well-
saying is about affording it, is doing it from the private sector versus doing it at rate are 2 different things. So if you can, in other words, if I pay you I&I fees, let's say for $1 million, right? And you go do the work, maybe you only get done the amount of work that I can get done for $500,000. That's kind of what we're trying to get at, that if, rather than, sometimes with I&I fees, if you have people go and remediate problem areas, you could get, rather than having to pay the I&I fees, you get a bigger bang for your buck and get more done. I think that's where you're kind of coming from, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I'm saying, I know you guys can't quantify it.
So you're
but-
saying we identify it, then you have your people repair it.
At our cost, because your cost is different than my cost, I don't pay a rate, the towns do.
You'll be working on our stuff, so you have to pay rate.
No, so this wouldn't be through the town wouldn't pay for it, this would be a private developer.
Yes.
So,
Are you
so,
talking about the prevailing wage
we're not,
rate?
yes, we wouldn't have to pay prevailing wage.
That's what it's going.
Right, but are we, I don't think we're paying prevailing wage on that, are we?
Yeah, we have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it costs you 2.5 times, so when you get $1 million from a developer, or whoever, on I&I fees, really, at prevailing wage, you're getting $300,000 to $400,000 of work done that would be done in the private sector. They would still be administered by the sewer department, they would still be administered by engineers, it would still be done in compliance the same way someone that would do it at rate work. So that's kind of what he's getting at, in terms of that, and that's where we were going with it.
I still think you have to pay the prevailing wage, because you're breaking the street up, public street.
We've done it in other towns, and we have not
I
paid
don't
prevailing
know,
wage.
I don't know where it was.
Okay.
That'd something,
Doing
be
that-
something I'd
Yeah.
wanna talk to Doug
Yeah,
about.
we'd have to look
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's gonna change the timeline though,
No.
whether you
Well-
do the work or we do it.
okay, yeah, understood, that was just an idea,
Yeah.
just, trying to get more done, as you said, you have an issue with.
Well, especially if you're dealing with the EPA, you could say, listen, we're
Yeah.
actually doing something, and that's the only reason I'm asking. And again, you're trying to get bang for your buck, and with all these studies, you're really chasing your tail at the end of the day. And I don't say that in a bad way, but that's really what it is.
Well, I don't think we're chasing our tail, because once we're finding, we're going after it.
Yeah, but
I mean, that, the chase of the tail was, they identified them in the past, they didn't repair it.
But I think your engineer will tell you that just because we identify it doesn't mean we capture it all through the repairs as well. And I'm not trying to knock the engineers, because like I said, I'm dealing with ratepayers in another town, but what I've pitched to people before is municipalities are better off trying to leverage the developers to get their improvements done in town than try to do it through the townsfolk and the ratepayers back. And what I've told municipalities is, this is your opportunity to take advantage when these types of projects come. I've had a couple projects where the town said, no, we wanted to do the studies and all this other stuff. We've asked, okay, put us on a waiting list and let's have a memo of understanding. And 2 years later, and you all know the economy's changed, so right now, that $2, $3, $4 million that the developer is willing to contribute, that's off the table, and the town's faced with it. And we're just sitting here trying to figure a way.
No, I understand it, what we're trying to do is find out where it is, and once we find out, maybe the situation will change. So yeah, you wanna go after it. But right now, we're trying to find out where it is.
Yeah.
And like I said, the last study identified 212,000 gallons, we're 19,000 gallons. We were in actuality, we were only gonna be able to remove 112 of that.
Yeah,
And
right.
So that's what we're going after,
Yeah.
we're going after the 112.
Yeah.
What would you do differently?
What would I do
Well,
differently?
you said that the studies that the town's been doing,
Well-
how would you guys handle it?
Well, I think intuitively, you probably have a good sense of what lines are leaking based on the age and size and materials that are in the ground. Like if you've got old, how old is Rockland Systems? Is it?
Rockland Oil System is 65 years old, all
Okay,
vitrified
so it's
clay
all
pipe.
it's all clay pipe.
But I don't wanna, also don't wanna repair one line of pipe when I know I've got, or may find a severe leaker down the road, I could use that money.
No,
somewhere else.
understood. But you have all these other people that are probably tied into the clay pipe as well. These homes trying to drain their basements and
You
all
mean
that
sump
other
pumps?
stuff. Yeah.
Some pumps are illegal.
Yeah, I know they are. But that's what I'm saying. You generally have a sense of where your problem lines are based on the size and the age of the pipe.
But you
and
have to
the
do
use.
some kind of study yourself as well.
Oh
You're
yeah,
not gonna go into the
I'm not
field,
saying going
the
blind. I'm
blind
just
spot.
saying you folks must have a sense of where it is.
Like, so we had a conversation, there's an issue with the pond over here, right? When the elevation rises, right? You have a serious you can notice the difference. I mean, so that's a major problem area right there. So how do we mitigate that? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Right.
Like
And that's why I'm asking if there's issues here, the plant, downstream, or something like that. Because at the end of the day, we need to make a business decision, just like you
I
folks make a
understand you do,
business
and I wish
decision.
it was something I could
That's
say,
kind of where
sure,
we're
go
at.
ahead. but
Yeah,
You asked for a hearing to say where we stand, this is where we stand right now.
yeah.
Right now, I am over capacity. We had the EPA in here, and I think it was town council said to him, oh, we know we have an I&I problem, I think you were there. The director of compliance says, you don't have an I&I, you got a capacity problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
I mean, no matter what you do,
Oh, I get
these
that.
people can only put 2.5 through.
Oh, I understand. I get that. And I'm not trying to.
Now, you wanna build me a new sewer facility, you're on.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not in the budget. So if we were to get, what would you need from us to get on a waiting list?
Drawings,
So, drawings? Yeah, so we have,
stamped drawings.
yeah,
And right now, we're not taking applications for a year, that's what we told people, unless we vote differently. And one thing I wanna do is be consistent. Right now, for a year, there is no way we can tie anyone in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna owe 200,000 gallons once I get that 112 out. I'm gonna go to the EPA and say, okay, I know, we promised you the world the last time, we didn't do it. And now I say, but let me do the same thing, which is, to me, the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
Try the same thing over and over and get the same results. I wanna show them that we're making some headway before we start allowing more flowing.
So this project would be all low flow, so when you count the 110, it's not, you know what I mean, so when you go 110 gallons per
Look,
day.
okay, I don't care, 1 tank, 50 tank, flow is flow, gallons per day,
Understood.
okay?
But you understand, part of your remediation effort's gonna be going around town offering people to replace their fixtures, replace their toilets, right? I think that would be the first thing I would do, is I'd be offering,
We'll have a joint meeting plan with water, They wanna get rid of irrigation, I wanna get rid of sump pumps.
Yeah, so and also, you know, you go to houses and you say, okay, we'll come in, we'll send a plumber in, we'll redo your fixtures, low flow, your toilets. I mean, that's the only way you get, you know, the old toilets, you keep flushing what, 4 gallons, you get them down to a 1.5 or 1.2. That's the, every time
Okay,
you
we
flush it.
could do that, right? But that's not what I report every month. I report what's on those meters every month.
Understood, but I'm just saying, these are the ways that you do
I
it.
understand that. We're working on those things. Like I said, we have a joint meeting with water coming up. They got the irrigation. We're trying to come up with an incentive plan for the residents. You know, give me your sump pumps, we'll give you this.
Yeah. You know, Crystal and I, you know, had a long conversation. She considers this area down in, first of all, it's a 40-hour overlay district, right? She considers that, even though they're under a partial moratorium, she considers it a priority district, right? She says, you know, if you're doing, you know, whatever project is, that overlay district in downtown Rockland is a priority district. They want to see it redeveloped. And even though she's on a partial moratorium, they want to see something done, right? So that's,
Crystal is not under an administrative order. I am.
well, you're under an administrative order, but the EPA, the state, you don't have an order from the CP, you don't have an order from the EPA saying you can no further expand your capacity. What they're saying is get into compliance.
We're saying get into compliance, so we made them some promises about removal before that. So we are sticking to that.
Okay.
I think that we could beat this to death. All I'd say is, you wanna keep going with your plans, go with your plans. And see where we are in the hearing, but right now, we're going after that I that's out there.
Can we help in
I
any way?
have four, not right now, we have 4 people waiting to come in.
Mhm.
We can't bump them for you.
Understood.
They were probably approved before the moratorium.
Can
So
you get-
once they come in, I'm still 200,000 gallons short. So once they're off the list and they come back with what we find out what we've actually removed, and maybe the meters will tell us, the meters that are out there now will tell us something different, maybe that'll change and say, hey, we'll take you up on it.
Yeah. So all of those projects you talked about have been approved through the boards, and as far as you know, they have.
I'll tell you what, can we get them in the approved list
Yeah, it's on the website.
on the website?
Well,
Do you-
that's
by the way,
what
do you have
you
that
had.
form I gave? I
That's
passed
what
out?
yeah, I give it back to you,
Yeah,
that's exactly
put it
what
in.
you,
Oh,
they
okay.
have. It's
Okay.
like- there's a-
Alright. Yep.
That was as of July 22, and there was a new one put out as of May on our website.
Do you want me to step
No, I
out
did
and
it.
print you another one?
No, it's okay, it's on the website, we'll
What's that?
find it, the approved projects.
Your proof.
No, I was just looking at the list that I sent you.
Right, it had a little tag on it,
Yeah.
it went back,
You got it.
Oh, okay.
it went back.
Okay. Oh yeah, I did. I put it back. I'm sorry. Yeah. So all right. And then my last question is, so unless you're under a state moratorium, you know, with 40Bs and 40Rs, not trying to say that, you know, other developments don't deserve more of a priority, but unfortunately in Massachusetts, 40Bs and 40Rs are prioritized, and unless you're under a state mandate, a state moratorium, I'm sorry.
And I raised that same question that you just said
Yeah,
to council Monday on a developer that I ran into, I ran that by council Tuesday afternoon because I bumped into another developer down here.
Bob Gavin,
Yes,
and he said,
that's between Bob and I right now, Bob's
Okay.
talking.
so yeah, that's my other question, so, I'm not sure how many of those other projects are,
40Bs?
no, this isn't a 40B, but this is a 40R, the town, so besides the I&I fees, you're getting all the other fees, the town gets $70,000 up front, and they get $3,500 per building permit, which is over $300,000 to the town, aside from anything that the sewer would get and water would get, so.
I'm spending $800,000 to get rid of 112,000.
Yeah, and this project would give you more than 800,000, I think it'd be upwards of $1 million, what?
Between all the fees, I'm at like 1.2, 1.3.
1 point, and if we did that, you know, remediation location, you would be getting more of a bang for your buck than that, right? So that's why it'd be nice to figure out, you know, where the problem areas are and,
Well, as soon as we find them out, we'll publish them, we'll let you know, because
Okay.
right now, like I said, we're 40% through that, 47% through the project
Mhm.
of identifying those areas.
Mhm.
That project is due to wind up the second week in August.
yeah, okay, second week in August. Alright, so, cause we,
So I imagine we'll see the report end of September.
end of September. I mean, because basically where we're at is this, we're under, I mean, full transparency, we had a 90-day due diligence period, which ends on June 14th. And that's, you know, it's either we cut bait or we push forward. You know, we would like, and I could, I'm sorry we didn't bring the board today, but if you didn't get a copy, we can email you, the board, a copy of the plans, if you'd like, that way you guys take a look at them. They're really nice. I mean, I know it doesn't matter at the end of the day in terms of capacity, but if you live in Rockland and you're from Rockland and you care about the town, this is not just, it's really nice. Got really nice projections. It's a really nice building. I think, you know, we think that would help support the downtown Rockland businesses. It would bring new businesses in. Other areas of the state we've done it in, and it's support, you know, businesses have benefited tenfold. You know, we'd like to do it, but again, you know, the sellers are gonna want an answer from us, are you guys moving forward or not? And part of our due diligence was this. So I guess we're just trying to figure out where you guys stand, and is this something that if we got approved by next spring, do you think we'd even be there?
I can't commit to anything.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to.
I mean, you
I mean,
gotta-
the numbers, in that memo, you saw our numbers, and that's as of the end of April.
you might have an empty building waiting to hear from us, you know what I'm saying, to say, okay. You know what I'm saying, you might have an empty building just sitting there and you can't use it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You don't want that.
And
No,
you know,
no,
what
no,
the other thing
no,
too is,
no.
I grew up in town, and I know that area, I would love to see something
Yeah.
go in there.
It's just like,
But I can't give something we don't have.
I understand, respectfully, I understand.
And you folks aren't gonna reprioritize projects based on, zoning preferences and all that stuff, is that?
Right now, we haven't, I'll be honest with you, we've been trying to dig out of a hole that we were
Yeah.
given. All right, and I mean, we had to draw the line somewhere, we drew it with the moratorium.
Okay.
And we put that moratorium out to try to circumvent in advance, cause we knew the EPA was gonna hit us with that order. And I'm trying every way I can to modify that order, because as long as we're in this position, we're not getting revenue.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
that's how we're looking at it too, is,
You know, and I
so
understand
that
that.
way that's,
But I
Yeah.
cannot give something we don't have.
no, understood.
Yeah.
And if I do give away, I wanna make sure the EPA is not gonna say, are you out of your mind?
Well, I have a question. So if you, I'm just saying, real quick, this is just me thinking out loud. Is that okay?
Go ahead.
Or knock yourself out.
If say you gave away X amount of gallons per day, but you knew your I&I fees, let's just say dollar for dollar, you were getting them, and they're going in your bank account, right? And you say, okay, EPA, we did approve this project, we're not on a state moratorium, right? You told us to, you know, come up with a plan and fix it, right? And we have, you know, we built up bankroll, I'm just saying, between projects, not even this one, other ones, $5 million to do remediation. Isn't that kind of like the idea that you want it?
Okay, and let me think out loud with that,
Okay,
okay? But in the meantime, I'm doing that, I'm violating my flow. Are you gonna pick up the tab for my fines?
no, but,
But I think what Bill's suggesting is if, before you did that, if that's something that maybe the EPA would consider in
you sign up-
advance.
Okay, let me tell you what happened in the past. Rockland promised the EPA would remove 11 gallons for every one we took in. We even charged I&I fees. Those fees went elsewhere. So you think they're gonna buy us telling them the same thing again?
Mm.
well,
Would you?
Oh, I get where you're coming from. Again, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
No,
I'm
I'm
just
not
asking.
trying to be a smart ass either.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that this is what happened in the past. This is why we're getting fined. Now, if I told you the same thing that I told you in '06 now,
Yeah.
would you believe me?
But
Would you believe me?
I would not believe you. But don't you don't you have your own accounts? I mean, wouldn't you have control of the money moving forward
Yes,
now?
but let's say it went into I&I accounts, but unfortunately, this facility is over 65 years old.
Right.
And it's still operating with equipment that is pre-1965.
Okay, so the money wasn't
The money
used for
went
I&I,
to
it was
good
used for
things. It
something
didn't go-
else.
it didn't go for-
Gotcha.
Trips to Stockholm.
No,
I understand. So, would you give, Attorney O'Shaughnessy permission to talk to Bob Galvin in regards to what I asked you about, the priority districts and the 40Rs and the 40Bs? Because you didn't wanna give me an answer about what he discussed, cause it was.
I have no
between you and him.
problem at all you talking to Bob Galvin.
Okay.
But
Give Bob a call?
I'll tell you one thing, Bob Galvin has no say over this board.
No, I understand. I'm just talking about from a legal perspective, because I don't want you to. Your big thing is like you don't want to violate the EPA's order, right? So I don't want to put you in a situation where, you know, you're not doing what they
Okay,
asked.
let me sum it up. I am not gonna go to the EPA with promises. I wanna show them a steady course of action that we're taking. I want them to know that we're walking the walk, not doing what was done in the past. We mean Rockland means business. We're gonna live up to our commitments. I'm not gonna promise them the same thing without proof.
Improve. Okay.
And
Proof is in the pudding, is I removed it, here it is.
And my opinion is we can't give capacity if we don't have capacity. If it's not there, it's just not there.
Understood. But
And I'm gonna tell you something else, but next month, I'm willing to bet our capacity, our flow, daily flow is probably gonna be around 1.8, given the way the things are now. That doesn't mean we have
No, right.
600,000 gallons of capacity.
yeah.
You take the yearly average from the floor?
I would, to intelligently do it, you gotta look at your 12-month rolling average, because monthly is fluctuation.
Yeah.
Do we report our 12-month? We now report our monthly.
Yeah.
But you have to still manage your flow.
Right.
And you can't manage it with a one snapshot.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all for developing that, don't get me wrong, I am not saying no. What I'm saying is give us a chance to see where we are. Give us a chance to see what our efforts are doing as far as remediation.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to stop what you're doing.
Okay.
You know, money's money, go for it. That's what I would do, I would go for it.
but with your crystal ball being crap, is next year? What I'm hearing now, next year's not realistic either. You're talking years.
Look, next
not
year, I
a
don't
year.
think we can survive not having revenue, to be honest, talking on the record with public meeting. I'm saying, we're gonna need the revenue. This plant is not getting any younger, and you know what? This plant's gonna fall, and we're gonna have to have that money somehow,
Right.
from somewhere. It's not all gonna fall from grants out of the sky.
Yeah.
But
No,
we're fighting a
I get it.
two-horned beast here.
I get it. I get it.
These people have done a good job, hell of a job.
Yeah. I see you hiring out front.
Yeah, you want a job?
I did that today.
You think outside the box, we like that. No, listen,
And we are aggressively pursuing this.
Yeah, no, I understand. I'm just trying to, listen, I hate to say it, but I've served on town boards. I know how it works. I know how towns work. I know it's a lot of bureaucracy, right? You know what I mean? It's just the way the towns work, right? You know, I mean, I can do things more efficiently than any town department can.
Harry can, because I come from the private sector.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the municipal sector is a bunch of crap.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So, so when we brought up that point about like, you know, I really think, this is just me saying this on the record, I think that any project that comes in front, not even us, maybe, I mean, if you need the money, you need the money. Maybe you take half, and maybe you have them do the other half, and say, listen, these are our priority areas. You need this fixed, that fixed, this fixed. That way, the number you really get in I&I fees is actually more than the actual dollar amount that you're seeing, right? And you'll get it done, rather than trying to take the fees from somebody else and then doing it yourself, because you're not getting the bang for your buck that way. I really believe
But
that's the way
we're
to do
not
it.
getting ahead. If we were just banking on that.
Yeah.
What I would rather do, in a utopia world, I would rather say, you know what? I have 400,000 gallons capacity. Come on in, I'll take your money and get the next 200,000. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen right now. We're so far in the hole, we're not gonna get that.
And I assume you guys have discussed that with the EPA.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, no,
They,
you guys.
you sure, they just looked at me, sure, tell us more.
No, yeah.
Cause it was probably.
You, I think, you're an attorney, you know the EPA, they're not in the business to fine you, they're in the business to work with you. And they will let you do whatever you want until the day your permit ends, and they're gonna go back and start looking over what you did, and then they're gonna come and lower the boom on you.
No, I get it, I get it.
Okay.
All right,
What town did you work for?
Excuse me?
What town were you on the boards for?
A few in the area.
Guys, listen, and send
thank
it,
you for your time.
get us the plans, and let's take it from there.
Understood,
Do you want me to email those plans to you, by the way?
Sure, whatever you want.
What would you prefer? I mean, that way if it's emailed, that way you can kinda.
Robin, I'll let it up to you.
It
send
is,
you,
but
Robin?
can you give us a hard copy as well?
Yeah, I'll drop it off to you, Robin, and then, I have your email address. Let me get it.
Yes.
thanks for your time, folks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please don't take this as confrontational, I didn't mean it to be
No,
that way.
no,
You remember me when I was younger?
Listen,
Yeah, no, that's not a bad thing, right?
Oh, no, I used to stand, we used to stand up on the table, yelling and screaming and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure will.
So we haven't done that.
No, I get it, I've seen it on both sides of the tables, and I've been sitting, I've sat in your seat for 10 years, but there's one thing that I thought I brought to the table was that I saw it from both sides, so
It's 63 million.
you know what I mean, like, if you don't see it from, if you're just behind a board and you don't work in the industry, sometimes you only see it from one side, but I went in the industry, I saw it from both sides, and, but I saw the towns, I mean, they spend more money on studies than I pay on actually doing the job. It's crazy.
I just couldn't believe
So that's all I was trying to get at.
Like I say,
Well, you don't have my
I
budget
stand
for
on the
I-9
tables
next year?
yelling at management.
$200,000.
Yeah.
And it's just,
We're
this
out now,
meeting's
Sherry's
over.
out now, beating
Okay,
the
good.
grants.
Yeah.
It's 4 hours.
Yeah, you got it, yeah. All right, well, good luck with that.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
very much.
Please don't take it.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We went from West when we did that.
Have a good day, all right?
Can I make a comment about 767 Union Street that didn't show?
Yes, please.
I only had his phone number, I reached out to him, I had to leave him a message, he didn't respond, and he's not here, so,
Okay, no, I'll,
Geez, I got a nice pen in that today.
yeah.
It's
You've
been
gotta be here
Joe-
when you leave.
hey, I apologize if I get out, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to throw the doors open to everyone we can, but until we figure out where we are, I think it's a real risk.
You can't.
We just can't.
All right.
Can I say something about that?
Sure, please do.
I wanted to ask a question, but then I didn't wanna be,
No, Robin, I want you to ask
why I
anything you
said it.
want.
Right, but just to clarify what their offer was, we were gonna base their fees on the 11-to-1
Mm-hmm.
I know what-
removal, based on our cost.
Yeah.
Were they gonna take that same amount of money, instead of giving it to us, spend all of it on I&I removal, so that we would have ended up removing more than the 11-to-1 ratio?
That's the way I took it.
Okay, cause I wasn't sure if they were gonna stop at the 11-to-1.
I thought they
And
were
then
gonna
they
do
would
11
pocket.
to 1.
No,
Right, but then that would only
Either
serve
way.
them, if
right, but I thought the way I took it was that they were gonna give us
we
that
would have
money,
even more
even
removals.
more of it.
That
That's,
would
that was
certainly
with
be
selling.
nice.
That was
Yeah.
my understanding too, maybe I
That's
should have
not
asked the
how
question when they were here.
And maybe that's food for thought in the future, but
I
what I wanna
think-
do is, I think we have to be consistent. And let's face it, we're gonna start getting a lot of pressure on development. What I didn't get into, and I'll do it now, Tuesday I happened to be in here for something else, and I bumped into the developers from Holy Family. They're in the same boat. They've got a building that's ready to be converted. They're gonna be looking at it, it's a new connection technically, because it's a change of use.
And they are senior housing, so are they a 40,
Right,
were they a
that's why I
40B?
called Bob.
Are they a 40B?
I don't know, that's what I called
Okay.
Bob, I wanted to find out what is the priorities of a comprehensive permit with the senior development and this type of project here. Do they take precedent over the moratorium? And the way I was told is you just gotta be consistent in the moratorium. And again, taking the developer's money is great. How's EPA gonna take it? That's what we told them
Well,
before, we
that's-
didn't do it.
That was my point. If you don't have the capacity, you can't give it.
Well, talk to me.
Well,
No, I agree, you
I
have,
agree.
you know, you have to remove,
it's hard.
you have to remove the flow.
Yeah.
You know, but I can see the board, yeah, you need money to make it work.
But if I was in EPA and you dealt with the regulators, if I told you the same thing I told you in '06, what would you say? You know Dave Burke, what do you think Dave Turner would say?
It's kind of a tough spot though, because like you said, you need the revenue
Right.
as well. I almost said, yeah, we'll do it.
No, I wanted to,
Yeah, that's a bad part.
I wanted to, okay, but
Want
then,
to.
okay, here's the other dilemma you have to look at. You can afford to do that, he can't, he came to me beforehand.
Yeah,
Oh, I know.
yeah.
We can't prioritize by money, but
No,
it is a good question if you can prioritize by the
By
type
the
of
zoning.
project, the
well, the
zoning.
type of project too, because like the residents would benefit from that,
Yes.
because you know what?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
exactly. Who's
absolutely.
gonna benefit from it?
Absolutely.
So I think we have to beat that, and I think it's more, I think we have to have a Rob Galvin in on that conversation too.
Mhm.
Do the other departments, so where he said that the state prioritizes 40 Rs and 40 Bs,
Mhm.
do municipalities follow the state?
I would say
And-
sure.
And, well, shouldn't we check with our other departments and see if they're prioritizing the 40 Rs and the 40 Bs? Because if they are, it's kind of a disconnect if we're not.
Right, well, we can prioritize, which I think they have to prioritize the 40Bs. And if I was Jennifer, I would prioritize the 40Rs over the 40Bs, because the town's getting more money.
Are we gonna find out the answer to that?
I will talk to Jennifer, I got a call, matter of fact, I spoke with her earlier today, and I'm hoping to get a call from Doug Lapp later on.
Oh, perfect.
The pressure's gonna start now.
Mhm.
All right, so Holy Family came in, they're proposing 27 units, single bedroom, senior housing. They have to reroute their current, sewer line because it's a shared line with Holy Family Church, which they've already had the plans to do so. They have a project ready, drawings, the whole 9 yards, and, you know, they're waiting on an answer. I gave them the letter I sent to planning. I'd like to sit down with Galvin and Doug and Jennifer and say, okay, look, here's where we are. You know, give us some guidance here, I mean, I don't think the EPA will give us any leeway, I wouldn't, after what happened.
No, I don't think they will either.
Without being able to show some progress.
Right, and that's the only thing I wanna do,
It would make no sense to ask for,
I don't know, does it? But I wanna show them that we are making progress, I wanna show them that we're getting that 112 out.
you know,
You know, there's a big, to me, I don't know, how could they say 219,000 only, they said 219 was cost effective to go at, and the other one said we can only guarantee you about 112, let's see where it goes. Okay, might as well go into I&I remediation.
If that's true, that's gonna double the cost of our I&I remediation fee.
Yep.
Just saying. Can we go back to my administrative update?
I thought you
Did we
did.
skip or no? Am I at the end?
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna be quick.
Oh, jeez, we're gonna walk, you looks like you're getting thicker.
What's going on with the intermunicipal agreement?
Intermunicipal agreement, absolutely nothing, I'm waiting for, Chris. One thing I did have, I did not send, but I have an email drafted to him regarding that new Abington complex that's going up the road here. Is that gonna affect us, or does that affect Rockland?
Where is it? On Center Ave?
No, it's on, Summer, right at the station. And it will go through over to that area.
Okay, cause the people who tie into Abington are mostly on Center Ave.
Nothing on
Yeah.
Summer.
I don't have anything on
I don't
Summer.
think the Summer
Okay.
Street
Alright.
impacts us. But it'd be a good question to.
Yeah.
know that.
So the sinkhole at the sewer manhole near 11 Linwood Street, Holdley was TVing the line on April 19th,
Yes.
and are they done with that?
I have no idea, because I know last I heard, Weston Sampson was doing that part of their, I&I work. I will check on that, they still, I think they got the picture, no, I know I gave them the pictures from, Lori, Mike Coldley took. So she has the pictures, I think they did that.
Okay, so Weston and Sampson's addressing this as part of
Yeah,
the
I'll ask them
I&I
as Weston Sampson.
project?
Yeah, they were gonna bump that up and make that
Alright.
one of their scenes.
My section should be the Chuck Hession project list. All right, the senior part-time vacancy, the last that I heard was, we're gonna have interviews on June 8th.
Yeah.
Or, and 7th.
Why so far out?
we're running into a holiday.
Holiday. He can come in on vacation, you can't interview?
Oh my God, you're tough. 978 Union Street, so Mr. O'Callahan, we sent him, he's the one that cut and capped the sewer and forgot to come down here and get a permit, and Hugh said he used McDougal. We spoke about this earlier.
Yes, I spoke to, Mr. Callahan today, he said he completely forgot to do that, however, the line is cut and capped. I sent an email back to Rod, I told him that, we wanna see it. He has to pull out a building permit to remove the foundation, so I told him, and I sent Tom Rubel a copy of the email, that when he pulls that building permit, one of the conditions is that he notifies sewer, he's to excavate the entire line, so sewer can observe it and see that it was capped. I also found out who the drain layer was, and I'm gonna call him and find out why he did that, because he's done work for Rockland in the past. Things to do.
That's why you wanted me at the end, you wanted me to call
I'm
him?
gonna be cheap.
Alright, so
Do you
this
have
one
an idea
is,
when he's gonna do that?
No, he just said he's in the
Excavation?
process of applying for the building permit.
I got a renewal application for the IPP permit for Target stores. They paid and supplied all of the paperwork, so I'm going to issue the permit, I'm gonna need someone to sign it.
Okay, I'll
That'll
sign
be like next week or so.
it. Okay.
Also under IPP, Baking with Joy went out of business up on Center Ave, and Fab Five Haitian Bistro. I don't know if I couldn't confirm if they've already started business there or not, but I spoke to Liza today, they have not filled out all the paperwork to get a business certificate yet, so she's gonna follow up with Michelle down in building and make sure that we know when they go into business, somebody will have to contact them, explain the IPP program, and get them back on schedule for the, grease trap cleanouts, but honestly, they're at 6 months, cause it was the bakery, it's probably gonna have to start off at 3 months,
Okay.
just so we don't have an issue.
Is that something either one of you two could go with me on that first inspection, first sit down with them to explain the program?
Yeah, I could go with you.
Okay.
Yeah, we could go.
I think it's something we should do on their site, just so we get to check it out over there.
Yeah. Thank you. Dynavac, I think they have until June, the end of June to complete the work.
End of June,
We haven't
yep.
heard anything from
No,
them.
I have them on my yellow sticky list.
That's the company that paved over the manholes.
They have to do 3 manholes.
Okay, this is Beach Street, they were here earlier. This was just, oh, I'm sorry, this is Beach Street, the manhole issue that we had.
Yeah.
Yes, the drainage.
So, this is my fault, David Taylor, he had said he would provide us with a summary,
Yeah,
which he did, and it was sitting in my email unopened. I called him today and said, where's that summary when I'm going through my book? And he's like, okay, well, I
There
sent
it
it to you a
is.
month ago. So I found it and forwarded it. It has pictures and a complete write-up of the project, so I apologize for that. The
can
center,
we put that on, our working session?
Yeah,
Just-
there was something else
just
about
so
that, yeah.
I could get an understanding of what that report means, cause I was reading it and it's,
okay, I know, there was a lot going on
there's
in
a
there.
lot in there, yeah. If we can just review it next week.
Yeah, we're gonna do that Thursday next week.
Then we have pending that Center Ave manhole project, but I know that David gave you the information to contact District Five.
Right, and I gave that to, John Ayotte, he was going to follow up on that, I'll touch base with John. Now, I did notice they were up on Center Street today, but they were doing curb work.
Okay, so my only concern is, I don't think that I don't know what the time frame is for that project, I know it's been pending for a long time, but I don't know if we budgeted for that project, so.
Police detail.
Police details and the actual work to be done, I wouldn't think we budgeted for that for FY '24, the Center Ave manhole
Well,
project.
I know we
so-
didn't.
So what I'm saying is, maybe we do all of the checking it out this year and put it on for next year's budget. So maybe you need to let John Ayotte know that
Yeah,
it's kinda
okay.
like an investigative.
Let me go back and look up my
Thank-
budget
Hey,
notes
could you
too,
talk to
because
John
there was
Ayotte on
something
that?
in there. Yeah. Okay.
Robin, that's a state project. Did they tell you when they wanted to start?
I don't know if they do, but.
Cause I know it's been going on for
The-
a number of years.
Right, it's been pending since John Laughlin was here. I've been here 3.5 years and we haven't done the work yet.
Correct.
So,
But you know what, it's not a bad idea, let's budget for it, so we have it, even if we get it off next year. We can always squirrel that away in the enterprise
right, cause
fund.
right now, we don't even have any idea how much that will
No.
cost, and if John's doing the research, maybe we do the
Yeah.
research.
Ask them to budget it. There's gotta be a scope of work out there.
That's.
I'm sorry, my asthma's aggravated and that's why I'm coughing. So a resident had reached out about 435 Hingham Street, the Ben Man brook behind the property was causing an issue with water. I mentioned this previously, I touched base with David Taylor, he reached out to the condo association, it's private property, so we need their permission.
Cullivan.
So as part of the drainage, he's going up there. He's pending permission from the condo association. They're gonna work together to clear that out, but there hasn't been any update on that yet. Zero Pond Street, we had a longer letter that we were gonna send to the ZBA, but it was condensed. Chuck sent it on May 11th regarding, Zero Pond Street, and the Mass DEP regulations regarding Zone A are clear. So we're kind of just pending until the zoning board of appeals makes a decision
Hold on.
on the Zone A matter.
Since then, Attorney Galvin, would like the sewer board to make a statement, I told him I'd say something at the next meeting on the 6th regarding the Zone A.
When are you gonna do that?
June 6th,
At the
at the
BOS
zoning,
meeting?
the ZBA
Oh,
meeting.
zoning, ZBA, okay. So we have you'll be happy about this, Rick, we have a copy machine
You
that,
woke him up or something.
has a lifespan of 5 years and it's in its 10th year.
That's
So,
pretty good.
right, but we have a lot of downtime with it, we have a lot of service calls with it, and it's frustrating all the way around, it's a shared machine. I just got a price from Kenmark Office Systems. They're moving away from that brand, I think it was Savin, and now they're using Minolta for municipalities. We have municipal pricing. We have a lease for 36 months or a straight buyout. Previously, we've done the straight buyout. We save about $1,000 on a $5,000 product, so we save 20% there. I'd like to go ahead and purchase that, but because we have the new person pending, we've had to purchase a desktop and furniture and other year-end expenses, so it's kind of drained down the sundries account. So I would like to go ahead with the purchase, but I just need your,
I would say go ahead with the purchase, transfer funds out of the superintendent's salary into that.
we don't have to transfer the funds
Yeah.
because the bottom line budget, but,
It'll work itself out at
Right.
the end of the year.
okay, cause it's only a little bit, like maybe $1,000.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll purchase for this year.
Yeah, and that, you have to do that by June 19th, correct?
Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. He's a
So
salesman,
between
he'll be calling me.
Yeah.
No chance of me
Yeah.
forgetting that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so the blinds, I have someone come, so these blinds, we were trying to price them before COVID. Then COVID hit and we let it go and we haven't really used the room much, but now that we're back to meeting in here and you guys have been having the working sessions, it's hot and they're a wreck. There's a glare, so I have someone coming in tomorrow from Budget Blinds and then I also have Craig Textiles, they're local. And they were in here before, so I'm gonna meet with Budget Blinds tomorrow, then I'll meet with Craig Textiles, and depending on how it goes, I was hoping that one of you might wanna come in and, meet with whoever,
Did you do that?
Tomorrow?
not tomorrow, but after I meet with Craig Textiles, we'll go over all of the options and
Yeah.
then meet with them for a final and make a decision.
Paint the windows black. That's all.
They just sold.
Do we wanna think about just replacing the ones that are broken?
I
You
had to
can't
replace them.
because those are no longer, they won't match.
So these be electric lights, can go up and down and stuff.
There's a lot of different options, actually. You can have some that go up and down, fold shades. that are, you know, more, keep the heat out. These don't keep anything out.
No.
The heat comes in unless you close them all the way. They have options where the sunlight can filter in, but keep the heat out. So I'm just gonna see what they have to offer. And we even talked about, these are the same ones that are in the kitchen, but by the time you pay somebody to move them over here and their age of them, they're gonna probably be broken as well, so it's not really cost effective.
I have to say, the sewer department certainly gets their value for every dollar they spend.
Is that a nice way of saying we're cheap?
No, I'm just saying.
Frugal, they say, frugal.
Well, thank you, Sherry. Okay, this is, I think you might wanna speak to this, Rick. This is about the NL demand response, for the generator, NLX, the money that we receive every year.
Correct.
I know that you wanted to do away with that, but then I thought you had a change of heart, so I thought you might wanna speak to that.
Sure, so what they ended up, because we were in that dilemma with the generator, I basically put them kinda on hold. And so we still have a contract with them, town still has a contract with them, and we're gonna start it back up, I believe, anytime now in May. So I will continue to do it. My concerns with them was, you know, having these outages or whatever, these demand responses, 7 PM at night. They've come in all crazy times. I mean, it's a lot easier for me with the staff to have these during normal working hours. Because when they happen after everyone leaves here, I have to bring 2 guys in, because it's, yes, you know, we have to, you know, we reset things like that, it just works a lot better with 2 men. So, but we are still part of the process. I did not, we just put it on hold.
All right, that's totally your call, Rick.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do them during the day?
Well, I'm not
It's not
sure.
up to
This
us.
was my,
It's up to
so they said we'd talk on that.
If they want the
Okay.
contract, they can do it during the day.
Well, it's $10,000 in our
But they
pocket.
pay
Right.
us.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
okay.
paying us.
So
Oh,
I will continue to work.
Changes the whole thing.
Yeah,
I will
Right.
work with them on that.
it's like $2,500 a quarter every time they do it. All right, 48 Carey Street, Jim Whaler, he did drop off some drawings.
That's a duplex.
Okay, so his understanding was that his single family got approved and his duplex got approved, but I think that Chuck had a conversation with him saying, your single family is approved, but your duplex is on the waiting list. Do you wanna speak to that?
I even went in, I watched the video and he took exception to it, but the single family was approved, the duplex was not. We did not see the plans for the duplex. He dropped the duplex off today and he was panic struck and I said, well, you're still below the moratorium, it's only gonna be 2 bedrooms per, so it'll be 440. So I said, just get the plans to us, we'll get you on the agenda when we can. And he is not shovel ready, he's not ready to go, so we'll just get him on the agenda and get him out for the 2-year approval.
So he'll be off the waiting list because he's under the moratorium?
He's under the moratorium, correct.
Now, what happened, never mind, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, talk about it afterwards, I know that land you wanna talk about.
I'm sorry,
It's okay.
slow writing.
It's okay.
Holy Family Schoolhouse Apartments, 6 Delcreed Ave,
I spoke to that,
right?
yeah.
And Chuck sent him a correspondence saying that we couldn't grant them a sewer connection permit at this time. 91 Josh Gray Road.
I did not follow up on that.
Alright, so 91 Josh Gray Road, I sent you all an email on April 11th, and it was from Chuck. He said, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, I sent it to all of you, thought you'd be interested in the comments from Crystal, the superintendent of water. She said at that time, that her input would be that if they haven't already, they will be required to fill out a request for water application for the additional 3 bedrooms. She wanted to review their application plans and address fees prior to approval. So,
So she's also
So
gonna,
nothing's.
yeah, I wasn't sure if that,
she's gonna have to make, that's a change of flow.
right, that, was it an existing 3-bedroom that she's turned into a 6?
Mm.
She was adding
Yes,
3 additional
that's right,
rooms, yeah,
yes.
and that's why.
That's right, but it is only
Yep,
the
so
three
I'll draw
bedroom.
something up.
Did you say you would draw something up?
Yep, I'll put it right now, I can do that, like, well, don't forget.
Dyer Street, still pending. the
Dyer
last-
Street's still pending, I talked to Pat Brennan yesterday on that, and he's, Hoadley's doing all the inspection on that, and I guess Mike's still having a problem with it.
Really?
Mike was up there, I talked to Pat Tuesday morning.
Alright, he's finding problems with it?
And he was gonna get back to Pat.
Alright. Thank you. Generator specs.
Generator spec, well, I just had a conversation before we came in here. And evidently what the hangup was the town inspector only works 1 week a month, or every other month, or every year, whatever.
Is that the town electrical inspector?
Yes, well, so I got a hold of the assistant, he got a hold of Matt today.
Okay.
Oh, did you hear from him?
I did not.
So Matt says all his questions has answered
Okay.
to the assistant, he just wants to get a hold of the other guy and it's ready to go to bid.
Is Matt the town electrical inspector?
Yes, so, but his cohort in crime, so all his questions were answered. Megan was there with me, when they were bringing up about the panel, everything he mentions in that stage 1 upgrade.
It is, okay.
Yeah, everything, so that was, all his questions have been answered. It's
Okay.
just a matter, they still want the portable. And I said, no, we're going permanent, it's end of story.
So everything they questioned is,
Has been answered, they're just waiting a formal
Oh.
blessing on, from
Okay.
Jim Walker or Jim something.
so it's gonna be covered in phase 1, did you say?
The questions at hand, he had, were all gonna be taken care of in the phase 1 upgrade. They're gonna upgrade that panel when they do the phosphorus.
Why did he want the, because we've gone back and forth about that, why did he want the temporary generator?
Flexibility, he said, but we're not dealing with that. I said, we've already got the stage 1 drawn up, we're not gonna go back to the drawing board. His main concern was the panel. The panel has been addressed.
So the stage 1 that's drawn up, you mean is the plant upgrade?
Right,
Alright,
it's all considered in part of the phase 1 upgrade, stage 1 upgrade.
alright, sorry, I was trying to understand.
So
Um,
we're gonna hold off, or is that generator actually gonna be?
The generator's gonna move forward, cause it's a 55-week lead time.
Okay.
But the upgrade that we can still be doing that while we're getting ready to do the design work in the panel could be ongoing.
Makes 100%.
Alright, so
You don't want wheels on it.
335 Beach Street. I
That was a
approved
single
that.
family?
I approved it based on your vote on it before, so this permit is approved by the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissions, 4/11/2023, subject to the applicant providing camera footage and an as-built of the lateral tie-in to the Rockland sewer system prior to building the addition.
Correct.
And did anyone contact us yet?
Nope, I haven't
I
contacted
don't
them.
know how to stay ahead of that.
Can I have the contact information?
Yep, her name is Jean Da Silva, D-A-S-I,
Jean, go ahead.
D-A-S-I-L-V-A.
And it's, what address,
335 Beach Street. The owner's information is Carlos Alvarenga, A-L-V-A-R-E-N-G-A. And his telephone number is 857-457-8529. And Jean Da Silva's telephone number. you
I'll
have
go
her
with Carl, I'm gonna call deal with Carl, she's the owner.
You want Jean's number? You already wrote
Sure.
her name down.
Yeah, sure.
Her number's 781-351-6134. I'm just nervous that the same thing will happen like the cut and cap.
No, I agree with you,
No.
no, I'll try to deal with Carlos.
And then Rick answered that. A manhole at the Jefferson School. I think we're all set with that.
Yeah,
We
that was
paid all
done,
the bills
wasn't
on that. What's this? Oh, this was the wait list that you gave me, the carbon monoxide detectors.
No, I haven't, I'll send out an email on that.
Alright. Robert Manzello, we sent him the letter, approval letter on February 14th. No fees collected, no permit issued yet
Hmm.
at this time.
He's got other problems, he had a fire over there yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, with a firehouse.
House.
Not the one he's living in.
No,
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 Because they
no.
were listed
190, 171, 191, Manzella Court, he's up over the Candies. No, it was on, Manzella Court,
The superintendent position,
deal with that later.
alright, 92 rear Josh Gray Road, nothing. Senior discount, nothing. 258 Union Street,
Nothing yet, haven't heard anything.
and that's it for me.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you two go now, so you can get home and.
Doesn't matter. I don't wanna go home.
No, you don't have to go home.
You want a to-do list?
That's true.
You wanna go to my house?
No, Rick, you got, if you wanna go, you're on vacation, so.
Okay, the facility treated 78 million gallons for the month of April, with an average daily flow of 2.6 million gallons per day. This average was above the facility's maximum limit of 2.5, causing us to report an exceedance for the month of April.
So, yeah, we were close, but it was basically 2.6, real close.
It was 2.6.
But you know, it's that,
It was 2.6, yeah.
yeah, we were.
It's all over is over.
Yeah, oh yeah, but
I know, we were
that
so
last
close.
storm, I believe it was on April 29th, 30th, it kicked us, we were gonna make it, that's how, and you know, that's what you tell these developers, they don't realize how close it is.
No, I know,
You know,
that's
it's just
what
like,
stinks.
yeah, one rain event, and it's just like, you're into violation.
I
And
think this month
unfortunately,
so
the
far,
EPA
we're
looks
good.
flow is flow, they don't care how it happens, why it happens.
Alright, so,
Piggybacking, I was looking at the report, out of the 6 months, we've had 7 violations.
Yeah,
yeah, like 5 in a row, something like that,
Yeah.
December, yeah.
I'm hoping, I'm positive this month we'll
Watch,
do it.
watch us get a deluge
Oh,
tomorrow.
yeah, rain comes Saturday night. Let's see, repair and maintenance, thing, I'm trying to think where I'm at here. New England generator, I'm still working with Chuck as far as the condition of that current generator. I'm gonna, actually, I scheduled a load bank test, cause the electrical inspector from the town asked me to do that. So that's scheduled for the 30th of this month. That's that test will in a nutshell, will tell you really what the condition of that generator is.
I'd like to be in there for that
It's
one.
a 3-hour test, and they push it, let's just say they push it. So that's scheduled for the end of the
Well,
month.
I would cancel that, you got a
Don't break it.
55-week lead time.
I know.
So, what is it called?
It's a load bank test that
Bank.
the town asked me to do.
BANK?
B-A-N-K, yep. So that's scheduled for the end of the month. Let's see here, I have a lot of repair and maintenance. Biggest thing, I think the biggest thing right now, it's not really repair and maintenance, is the issues that Veolia is having right now with sludge. It's a major problem, we've discussed this in years past, actually not too long, I think it was last year we went on down the same road. We have a contract with a company called Synagro. Synagro takes in all the sludge in this general area, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut. They went down again, happened on, actually it
2
happened.
weeks ago.
Yeah, it was May 1st, actually. Got an email saying the incinerator is down again. So all of a sudden, we start scurrying. It's like, we're fortunate that we are Veolia now. I was able to reach out to, and how we did the last time, one of our facilities in Naugatuck, Connecticut. Cost is more than double to get it from Rockland to Woonsocket versus Naugatuck, Connecticut. The biggest issue we're having here right now is the plant is, we're building up with solids, and Megan was off this week, like you said, Chuck, and we just can't get rid of it fast enough. Naugatuck's allowing us 1 dumpster a week. Well, we typically do 2 a week. So slowly we're getting behind. We're actually, next week will be week 3. Incinerator is still down, so.
Usually when they get down after that, they jack up your price again anyway.
Yeah, so, again, I just wanna let the board know we're having these issues, we're doing the best we can. I've been on calls with Mass DEP, I mean, they really someone in the state needs to sit down and really look at a regional some sludge facility. And it's
They
just-
gotta look at doing something with their regs to deal with it, period.
It's just,
We're not
Does anybody mind if I shut those off so we don't have the heat from them?
that's fine. So anyways, that's an issue that right now we are dealing with in Veolia. We're hoping they're gonna come back online end of next week, we're hoping. Let's see, what else was I gonna talk about?
I'll do your boiler piping if you want.
Yeah, so, yeah, you know, I actually had a question about the boiler pipe, because I've been on that Weston and Sampson,
Yeah, well, we had the,
did you have the bid open?
we had the bid opening
Okay.
yesterday.
Okay, so that was my
There was
question.
one bidder.
Weston, okay.
I don't wanna say what the pricing was now because I'm asking Jennifer to go, I wanna go through a rebid process, and here's what I think we should do, Rick. I think a lot of the potential bidders were scared off with the deadline of the state, state deadline. I think with the backlog a lot of these vendors have on their regular projects, I think a lot of them felt they couldn't meet that date.
It was like August.
What I wanna do is I wanna call Mass DEP and set up a meeting next week or the week after. Explain to them that we're doing our due diligence. Explaining to them that we went out to bid, we got one bidder. The price was beyond our expectations. We simply don't have the funding for it, so we need to go out to bid again. And hopefully they can recommend some state funding that'll give us, what I'd like to do is I'm gonna ask for a 2-year extension. Thinking that if I throw myself at the mercy and cry a lot, I may get a year. But I think as long as we're showing due diligence, we have a bid, I can show them that it's cost prohibitive. That we've only have X amount of money to work with ARPA funds. Jen has explained to me that we have till December of 2024 to use those ARPA funds. But we can get out to bid again before then and get them committed. But I think the next step is I wanna talk to Dave Burns, seeing who I sit down and talk to. And just say, look, it is what it is.
Can we back up for a second? What was the bid about?
The bid was for the digester piping.
Thank you. It wouldn't come back to me, I heard you say it, but,
The digester pipe, we had one bidder
right.
with 3 options that we asked for. And all 3 options were cost prohibitive, in my opinion. And I don't wanna say what the pricing was because we will have to rebid, I don't want.
You don't imagine.
I definitely
How
understand.
come they can't use plastic pipe? I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I mean.
No.
Well, the problem is, no matter what you go,
It's not
if
plastic.
you're gonna go with stainless, you're gonna fight.
I don't think
An
the state
ungodly
allows
leak.
for plastic piping with gas.
You
Yeah.
can't.
For gas,
You
it's
can't.
stainless steel.
And if you go with the stainless piping, we're dead in the water with that deadline anyway because of the lead time.
Mhm.
So your
So-
options are stainless or copper?
Stainless or stainless.
I'll tell you right now, I think that's, pipe is probably stronger than the stainless.
So what I wanna do
Most
is
great
I wanna
piece.
talk to them about getting an extension from Mass DEP. So
Because
we'll
right
see
now
what-
that falls under the state plumbing, they're the ones that,
Right.
that's the ones that's holding us up right now.
But right now, I have to get DEP's buy-in.
Yeah, get the 2 boards together and some sort of meeting.
Yeah, well, that's all I can do, say, look, I lay it all in front of them, here's our paperwork, we've done everything we can. Now, we know we're not gonna meet your deadline, and we know that no one's gonna bid on it with the short window. Give us 2 years to get, competitive bidding, cost-effective bidding.
Because
If
we-
not, give us the money.
Because the thing that they said was if we didn't finish the piping by August, that we were gonna have to go back, and
Well, we
use
can't go back.
oil.
We can't.
And we know what it costs us less.
We can't.
It's
So
just-
but like I said, as long as we're
Cost
showing them
prohibitive.
that we've done everything we could, we've jumped to a burning hoop really to get to this point.
I agree with you. Agree with you 100%.
I'll call them and
Okay.
see where we can go from
Let me
there.
know if you need anything on that, Chuck, because
Yeah.
obviously, we're doing our due diligence on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing more we can do, unless they wanna give us the money.
Let's see, we talked about that. Staffing, like I said, I was off, Megan's put some banners out there at the end of the street. I actually had a talk, I sent an email out yesterday to Veolia's HR, and I asked them if there was any way I could go to like a temporary agency and they're supposed to get back to me on that, cause I think right now, we're just not getting, we're not getting the applicants to come to Veolia, you know, so maybe we have to go to the applicants, you know, and, you know, go pick out a temporary agency, something like that, and then find someone, obviously someone that's looking for long-term employment, and then bring them along that way.
Well, let me throw this out here, cause I had a conversation, Thursday or Friday of last week, and I gotta follow up on that with Northeastern. They wanted me to come back on the board to be a mentor program, and I said quid pro quo. I'm looking for a superintendent.
Right.
So what I'm looking to do and talk to them about is maybe something, working a co-op program, training.
Okay.
So maybe you could work on something like that to bring on a co-op engineering, show them the ropes, and they come back 3 months later and work on another phase. Maybe pursue that with Veolia.
Absolutely, I know Veolia's always looking for ideas.
Well, tell them if they wanna go through, the Northeastern Co-op program, I have the name, and I'm supposed to be going to a meeting next week,
Yeah, if you
but I'm
can-
trying to get out of it because I wanna go fishing.
You went to Vermont?
Yes.
It's-
I have a question for you. So where do your guys get their training? When their licenses? Is it an online
It'd be
thing?
hands-on,
A
yeah.
lot of it's on.
Oh, so they don't have to go to a school or?
No.
No,
Well, even with that school now, you could take the license, I believe you could take them online.
you do. You do have to go to a, facility though, that offers, and you gotta sit in, they monitor you, and
There's a lot of reading to
it's
do
an
on
early,
that.
it's a good turnaround, so if you don't pass, you can take it like 2 days later. if you make it.
I'm wondering
So
if
it's
that
really-
facility like
We really
can
need, and
give
I
you
know,
references for people, do they
Well,
refer
Veolia's
their
actually-
clients over?
Offering, if you work through Veolia has classes that they offer that you could take online.
Oh,
yeah, so
So
it's
you
just,
can
it's just
find-
getting that applicant, and that's why,
Getting the body
That's
in.
why
Just getting a buy-in.
that's why the board has given me 18 months to get a 3M. I just can't get the body to come in here to.
Yeah, but again, you're not alone.
You know, I know,
mean,
I
it's,
know.
it's
Absolutely.
scary.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is absolutely scary. I don't know what people are doing for money.
Yeah.
I just found out Edison, over in Rockland, the gas people can't get a mechanic, guy retired.
Yeah, look at
They're
MBTA.
using gas stations now.
Look at MBTA. They're offering $10,000 to retirees to come in and guarantee them 2 years of work. You know, the retirees say, no, we'll do a part-time. They're going, well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know guys are fed up with.
Hey, it's getting 5 o'clock. Turkey's getting
what
hungry.
about the
Let's say
VOTEC
focus.
school?
That's, I mean,
What'd you
that's.
say?
The VOTEC school, did you reach out to them? They have kids getting ready to graduate
That
right
would
now.
be, I don't know if they have, but I can definitely bring that up.
That's a good
Years
idea.
ago, they had Quincy College.
I mean, you
Actually
can-
had a
Hey, I
program.
know.
Gary-
All my friends
Gary
went to
Bell,
that.
One of
Yeah,
the operators,
yeah,
he
very good.
actually
Yeah.
mentioned, one of the VOTEC schools, and he said he had
Well,
nobody, I don't know which one he went to, but he said that.
You could go over to the one in Hanover and have lunch. And
They
then
get someone
mingle
from the
with the
automotive.
staff.
At least you get someone
That's a good
mechanically
idea.
inclined.
Yeah, have lunch and mingle with the staff and
Promote
Get an
Veolia.
appointment.
Which
Yeah.
one is that?
it's right
South
out.
Shore VOTEC.
Oh,
South
South
Shore.
Shore.
Yeah, it's right down the
Yeah,
street.
I know where it is, okay.
Go down there on
That's a good
Fridays,
idea.
good meals, I hear.
I had good luck hiring machinists out of there. Take kids in for the summer and
Oh,
feel
that's
them
a-
out, and then when they graduate, if they're already gonna put them in the machine shop.
That's a good marketing strategy.
As a, you know, as a company, it's a problem. You know, I know, the program they have right now in inner city, it's called Excel program. Veolia is actually backing that now. We actually have one of our applicants, one of our employees right now, Max Jackson. We pulled him from that. But it's just, the problem we have with that program is a lot of the students in the inner city, they don't have transportation to get out to the Rockland. You know, I mean, this
Or they're
train
too far.
station is Abington, well, how are they gonna get here? You know, I'm not.
Or it's
Yeah.
over an hour drive
Yeah.
here, and sometimes with the response time, we need it sooner,
The alarms that we
especially
have.
if we have an emergency.
They sent my son to Midwest the other day for 3 days to work out there.
All right, let's
Yeah,
stay on
It'd be,
to
it'd be
this.
good if we could get something in the South Shore, that would be
Yeah.
excellent. But
Hear any more, Rick?
no, that's all I have, Joe.
You guys, thank you for coming in. If you wanna stick around, you're more than welcome.
You want a babysitter?
No, I
EPA.
got
Kids
three,
under-
I got
three
three
kids
of my
under
own.
two.
So are we going back
Three kids on the
to
two.
project updates?
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do right now.
I do too, I do too. I have to go home.
Gary's
One.
here.
Project update. Let's start with the
I hear it was a good
project
babysitter.
manager. I'm gonna give you each one. You might as well take a rip if you want it. So keep the papers. up there, Viola, it's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
You got Viola, Jack. This is the project manager, John Ayat from Veolia. The month of April, $1,500, 9.75 hours. Protracting it out to 12 months, it looks like it's gonna be spending around $30,000. So you have that sheet. The sewer project update. Did I give you this?
Yes,
I get
attached.
this.
Did you get
Where-
this?
Yeah, where are you seeing that $30,000?
Projecting it out,
Oh,
that's what it'll be.
29.7,
Jack, you want that? You can have that. A sewer project update, this is from from Weston Sampson on the actual remediation work. It looks like as of, this was updated, as of today, that 53% of the work is complete. They're estimating that they're gonna be able to achieve 113,000, rounded up 114,000 gallons of I&I removed. Right now, they're guessing that they're taking out close to 68,000 gallons. They have not gone into manholes of that yet. Where was I on that? They're gonna be doing, they're testing, they're grouting, they're lining. And that, now, on this one is the I&I year one analysis. They've installed the 15 meters and 3 groundwater gauges. Those were all installed the first week. They're gonna take that monitoring through 10 weeks. And that goes to the end of June. The map on the third page, the little yellow triangles, the stars will show you where the meters are. Now, one thing I noticed from this graph, if you're on the last page, that one of them is jumped out, and I asked them to upgrade it. On the last page, he does it, no, he didn't. Meter 13 is spiking pretty good. Meter 13 is up around the new elementary school. So it looks like our guesstimates are fairly right. So what we wanted to do is we're gonna get through all this metering work. Again, we'll have the data at the end of June. 2 of the meters are ours. And they're gonna supplement it with 2 more meters that we could put around the school just to make sure we're isolating that, not counting that as our flow. See if there's something we could take out of that.
So we own 2 of the meters?
We're, out of the 15 meters, we own 2 of them.
Did we buy them from them?
Yes, we did. There's an addendum coming through on that.
All right, I have a question.
Sure.
The whole purpose of this is to identify those heavy flow areas like we discussed
Second,
earlier with
right,
those people?
right.
Okay.
What that'll do is that breaking the area town into 15 different areas. Each meter will identify the flow in that area. Now, once that meter identifies the area for the flow, now we have to go in and do a
Right,
further
so-
analysis to pinpoint it.
Oh, okay, so we don't just automatically
No, we
go
don't.
to that
But what we
location.
can do, what this is gonna allow us to do is prioritize the areas,
Right,
high flow, low flow, and go after the big hitters.
because we can't go after all 15 areas? Is that the,
Well, we didn't have the money.
right, okay, so we don't have the money to go after all 15
No,
areas.
so what I wanted to do is, the way I asked to do is break it down from high to low, and we'll just go after the biggest bang for the buck we can.
And, okay,
And you said we'll have more data on that meter
We're
13 in June?
they're updating that data weekly. I didn't wanna see it weekly because
Right.
I didn't wanna get excited on it. I said,
Right,
rather
no, no, no.
give it to me in a 4-week snapshot so I could, they give it to you anytime you want, but I'd
Yeah.
rather get it on a 4-week so I could digest it. But it shows you pretty much where it is around town. And I think it's gonna be a huge help to the town, especially if you look at one of them, when they show the rainfall, how it spikes in that one area. So,
You always have problems in that area.
yeah. The last one is the CWMP. Now, there's 2, I asked them to put it down in 2 categories. Waiting for the regulators, and assume the regulators will have their review done. The regulators have the CWMP draft, as we do, so I think we gave them all our comments. Now, if the regulators take 2 weeks to do it like they promised us, the second column is the dates we'll shoot for.
Do I have that? I don't have that.
You should
This
have
is
that.
the meeting.
It was the last page.
No, she does not have that.
No?
I'll give you mine. I'd like to put that up on the website.
See, yeah, I do have it. I have it. I was looking at the wrong packet.
The mind is a terrible thing. to
Isn't
do.
it?
So what it looks like is that, I also got a call from North River Watershed Association on this. So I gave them a copy of the draft. I told them they're not to jump public comment, they can review it as the regulators are doing. Once the regulators are done doing it, it's posted for a 2-week, a 30-day review, I believe. And I've tentatively scheduled a public presentation the end of June to go over all the public comments, all the regulators' comments, and where we stand on that. So hopefully we're gonna be able to submit that by the end of July.
That's the comprehensive wastewater management plan.
Yep. All these we could put in the minutes if you'd like to see them. The EPA submittal. EPA submittal, the draft came out late today. We've all had a chance to edit it, submit our edits. I think it looks good to go. If you agree, we have a signature page here to sign. It's due May 30th, this is the 18th, we're ahead of the game. The way this report goes is just plug and play and all this minor tweaking, minor editing. So if you have no concerns, we can sign it.
I think it looked good.
There are 2 signature pages there. I don't know why I thought you needed 2, but
Oh no, I sent you one just in case you didn't need it.
You can sign my name. You can.
so I'm gonna
They
rescan
can
the
get on
entire
receipt.
document. I'm not gonna send the signature page separate.
You can get the orange suit.
Oh no, you keep, that's why I did that.
Okay, good.
So we can throw this one away. We've got the original, note.
And we go to, I'll get an orange suit too.
Just sign it. It's gonna be real easy for down in the future to keep plugging this in if you have to do it for 10 years. I can't see how they can't be happy with this, to be honest with you. Very detailed,
It's one page, right?
just one page.
Yeah. Why is yours so much thinner than what I have?
Because I didn't put in all the addendums.
Oh, okay. I wanna make sure I have. the right-
I have all that on electronic, I got the addendum separate.
Oh,
This I just wanted in case one of them had questions on it.
alright, and I'm gonna scan this over to, thank you.
Otherwise you come chasing me for a pen.
Who am I scanning this over to?
You can send it right into EP, but I'd send this one, which we gotta talk about, is to send it to Chris Kenny, let him send it in.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the EP report, what I'm finding is we're being charged $300 for them to be mailman. There's nothing that says they have to see it. I spoke to Doug about that. Doug said it's good to have them review it, but you know what, we're paying for it. Town's not paying for it out of general ledger. So,
What was that, we're paying the legal fee?
For legal
we're paying the
review.
legal fees for the EPA. It should, to me, the town is on the hook just as much as we are. But it seems it's coming out of sewer budget, so if that's the case, I'm not paying for legal review.
So
For,
it's-
not for a document
Well-
like this.
Right, but then they submitted for you on your behalf, right?
Right, they
And you
submit
have
on it,
that-
so they're gonna charge me $300 just to answer. They
I
wouldn't
know,
make
but
any
then
change.
you have that trail.
They don't have,
Yeah.
for $300, we're running broke. We're in the red now on the legal.
We're so in the red on the legal, but $300 doesn't matter, and we're only doing it, how often, once or twice?
Well,
I just think you have that paper trail that it got submitted by legal. That's my
Okay,
opinion.
no, that,
That's my
that,
non-commissioner
no, hold it,
opinion.
that's a good point.
It's
I
a
have,
good
I
point.
have a real, I gotta watch my wording on this. I have a real hang up on attorneys. They're not, to me, are not a value-added service. Sorry, all you attorneys out there. but Robin is right, for $300, we got the surety of it. I don't wanna go through, the big hit was when they had to do that August submittal, which wasn't necessary. So if you wanna keep going like we are, we can. That was just my 2 cents.
This is a flat fee though, you know what you're paying for.
Well,
It's
that
not
was my next
something that's
question,
gonna-
is that the fee for this submittal, or is it change
No,
from,
from what I gather, looking through it, it's just the $300.
it'll be the 300?
So if he wants to play postman, we wanna pay him $300 stuff. There you go. I wish I could get that job.
So, well, you could've went to law school.
Engineering school is bad
I
enough.
mean, you had that option.
Engineering school is bad enough.
So I'm gonna submit this to Chris Kenny and ask
Yep.
him to submit it on our behalf to the EPA
Right,
by the deadline of,
May 30th. 30 days up there, June, end of it, May 31st. Tell them the commissioners reviewed it, it's fine, I mean, there's nothing in there, I mean, it's plug and play, it's simplicity in its
So-
purest form.
And it's true, but this is the first report that we've had that ability. the
No,
plug and
November
play.
was the
Plug
heavy
and play.
hours putting it,
Yes,
because
and
they
setting
did,
it up
the
so
way
that
they
it would
wanted
be
to
easy
do
to
it,
maintain.
the way they wanted to do it, it would have been a heavy endeavor every
Yeah,
time, I
every
said,
time.
no.
Yeah,
I said, the report like this should be just treated plug and play.
What I'm saying, this is our first go around with
Right.
having it easy to maintain,
Right.
so in that case, you know, I think it's a good idea to send it through the legal counsel.
All right, no, listen, I'm not
I'd be
a
curious to
dictatorship.
see if any comments.
They can't say
we get.
anything, really, it's
I
just,
don't
the
expect
numbers are the
any.
numbers.
No, I don't expect any comments, but
All right.
let's just see how it plays.
All right.
And then the next submittal is.
What I did have a
November,
problem with was the way
Decide.
Veolia first approached it, and Wright Pierce and the others, I mean, it just, they want to, they're in the money to make, the business to make money, the consultants. To me, you just do the report, and what changes, all the changes
Right,
is what you do along the way, and as
Right.
we get longer, this will
Well,
get thicker
yeah.
and thicker and
yeah,
thicker.
and at some point, we'll be able to contribute more to it than Veolia does.
Oh,
So I can-
absolutely.
I can see why it was set up that way, but.
Oh, really,
we're in a
we
better
could do it
position.
now, we could do it right now,
Yeah.
but I don't want to,
No, I don't want to either.
I'll be honest, I don't want to.
well, you were talking a good game for a second
I
there.
know, right?
To be honest, I don't want to, I
Who's
mean,
gonna do it?
I'd rather
But,
you put it
know,
together, but.
Yeah,
Working sessions we can jump, I can't do
Yeah,
Tuesday of next week, if you wanna have one, I'd say Thursday, I think we should do Thursday if you can.
yeah.
No, Tuesday I can't do it, I got a doctor, arthritis doctor.
Alright.
I got more doctors you can shake a stick.
I don't care, I wanna be up there with a flower in my hand, that's what I'm hoping, I haven't broken the news to the family yet.
Oh, I can't wait till you tell the queen that.
I'm going up for the newspaper Sunday and not come back.
She knows now, she's watching this.
No.
Thursday, you say?
Thursday
That
if you
might be
can.
tough, yeah.
We already spoke about the generator replacement.
Yeah, I'll talk about that, but Friday is the Friday of Memorial Day weekend, I don't think we're,
Yeah,
we can
no.
blow it off next week, nothing is really drastically pending,
Agreed,
okay, blow it off.
okay.
Oh, that's who we're not
So
coming,
that's no meeting next week.
No, this Memorial Day weekend.
is it?
And we'll do it for the Wednesday after the holiday. I give everyone time to recover after the holiday.
The 31st?
Yeah.
Next
The
session.
generator, okay, we went through the generator, that has been a project I have never experienced in my life to get, how we're gonna go 15 months is beyond me. But we had a great meeting of the minds since it was a one-way conversation last week. And it came down to the fact that they had to get, down, all they do now, needed now was the, town electrician's blessing. So once they get that, which all his questions have been answered, that should be able to go out to bid next week.
They still wanna make the portables crazy.
It's fine, no, we're not,
I told
too
you,
many people got into the decisions making, so the decision was
I
made.
told you what happened to portables in that place.
Okay, let's table the superintendent update until we get to the next one. Accounting update, Sherry, you got anything to really,
No, I really don't. I had a preliminary meeting with, Wright Pierce.
oh, Jen,
and
yes, how did
Jess.
that go?
Yeah, and it went very well. She has already started to reach out for federal earmarks and suggested that we look at EPA grants where they would provide 80% of the funding, and then we would match it with a 20%.
Is she gonna help with that? They claimed you would.
Yes.
And Veolia also said they had, so there's a person gonna be calling you from Veolia as well.
Excellent, okay. She is going to provide a summary of that phone call.
And I
Probably
have a
next
request
week or
in to David
after.
DeCosta to meet with him
Yes.
in an open meeting.
Super, oh, super.
Is this the meeting that, that Zoom meeting we were in together, or is that upcoming? You guys sent me something about a Zoom meeting about funding?
That is not the same thing.
Oh, it's something
No.
else, okay.
The Zoom meeting about funding is, I think it's more an educational overview of, this is dedicated with Wright Pierce and targeting
See,
specific
you two could
sources.
participate in that, but Dan and I cannot, I don't want,
Right.
I'd rather you update the board.
Yeah, that's
All right.
no, so that was a good thing. That was the big big piece.
When are we gonna know exactly where we stand or what we have, if anything, left over?
That's a great question. And I'm gonna pursue it with Scott. There'll be a meeting with Scott and probably Doug, and Robin will participate as well for setting up new accounts for next year.
Okay.
And that's when we can address that and find out, because I've never gotten a number from what we had from last
So
year.
what I really would like to do is get a concrete number for I&I. Once we have this metering, that we have a key zone, say,
Mhm.
I'd like to see how much we can spend to go after, identify, pinpoint something. And that's where I'd like you to talk to Jessica about, can you get us matching funds to find that?
I did talk to her and told her that we were looking for the 4 million to really resolve everything, which is just really is our educated guesstimate
Yeah.
on what it would cost to get out of the hole and be even Steven. So that is on her radar. But I also impressed upon her that the phosphorus is the priority.
I have a couple of questions about that.
Mhm.
So we have the two revolving accounts that we haven't spent any money
Correct.
from. We have
Yeah.
I&I revolving
Yeah.
and sewer development, and
Yeah.
now we have the new R&M fee that obviously we're not gonna collect on. But going forward, we need to set up that account and
We do.
decide if that's gonna be a revolving account or an account, or is it just gonna
Yeah.
go to our bottom line? Or, I mean, if we're
Yeah,
receiving
what
money
are we doing
in,
with that funds?
Yeah.
I agree.
so,
I agree.
so we need an account for the receipts of that, or do you want that R&M fee to merge into the I&I remediation fee? So you need to put some thought into
So
that.
I think that's something we should think about. and
Can I muddy the
put
waters
on
a
our
little
working
further?
session.
What I was looking at last night, we're looking at 440 gallons a minimum, for not part of the moratorium. Under the 440, we're capturing the I&I really to do that, but I'd like to boot up the fees per gallon.
You mean the 661?
No, the $20.
The
And that's
upfront R&M?
that's R&M.
That goes to revenue, that goes to our bottom line.
Right,
Well-
Robin's point is we're
We haven't-
charging and assessing it as repair and maintenance fee.
But we actually
What are we
don't
gonna
know
do
where
with
it's
those
going, because
funds?
you haven't decided yet.
We need to determine what is the purpose for that fee, so that we can set
If
an
you-
accounting.
What I wanted to do, what I was hoping to do is hold that fee for Rick for maintenance, cause I'm worried about
That's what I thought.
general
Just-
maintenance is gonna kill us.
What do
Just
you mean for
so,
Rick?
For maintenance of the plant,
Oh, for
Plant
plant
maintenance.
maintenance?
plant
Yeah.
maintenance.
plant maintenance.
That's not in their contract, plant maintenance?
No, some of it, like the big hitters, like if a major pump goes down, ours, pump station's
Alright.
ours.
I'm not sure that you can give him the money to spend though.
Well, no, I'm not saying, no,
we're
I'm not
giving
saying
it
when
to
he
him.
comes saying,
No.
I've got a
We're
problem,
saying it would be,
Okay,
so we
repair
have the money to
maintenance
cover it.
fees collected would be.
after they expend their
Theirs, yes,
R&M,
absolutely.
okay.
What I'm saying is, historically, it looks like we've been running short on that. I was hoping that fee would help us keep us ahead of the game.
Mhm.
So
But
then that answers your own question, it needs to go into a revolving fund. Because you can't-
That's what I
You
Yeah.
can't spend it until the following year if it hits your bottom line, and then you have to allocate it out. If you put it in the revolving,
Revolving,
it's available
you
for
can
you when
spend
you
it
need to
Yeah.
as
spend
you
it.
need
Okay,
it,
yeah.
as you need it, and that's what I think too. but that needs,
But I
well,
kinda still would like to bump up that per gallon fee.
that's certainly something we can
I'd
talk
like to
about.
talk about it.
Yeah. put it on.
And the other thing we gotta really talk about is what we wanna do municipal.
Can I say something?
Sure, anytime you want.
So, you wanna bump that up because historically we've run out of funds.
Yeah.
But historically, we weren't charging the right amount for the I and I.
Right, we are now.
Removing
Yeah.
it. Now we are, so we might not have to bump up that R&M fee.
Greed is good.
Greed is good, but like you said, before you got on the greed bandwagon, you thought you were
You
gonna
were-
scare away developers.
And you're impacting the single-family home people. And
Right.
Yes,
those
that's
were-
that, okay, no,
Those were
no,
the
no,
people
those
that
are the
were
ones I
trying to
didn't
keep
wanna
it
impact.
reasonable
I'm,
for.
so my way of
But-
thinking is give this I and I new fees a chance
A
to
chance to
pan out
develop.
and see if we're collecting enough to actually.
Oh, I
remove
think
the
we're,
I&I.
I think
Because
we're gonna, once we
That
start putting
$20
developers
is,
in.
yeah, it's actually only applicable over the 440.
Yeah.
Right, so it'll be all these developments
So
that
it
we
is
have on
only
the table.
developments, yeah.
See, that's why we gotta find a way to let them in.
Oh, we do, but until.
I really
we
think
have
you
to-
should give some consideration to what he's saying.
Well, I am, believe me, I
Using that-
am. But what I
removing
wanna
the
do
R&M.
is I want
the
to,
I&I,
what I
yikes.
wanna do is I wanna feel out the EPA too. Until I see what
It's-
their fine is gonna be, I'm a little leery of doing anything.
So it's, the as far as developers paying for the I and I remediation, I mean, that's always been in
Right,
our
In-house, yeah,
ordinance. by-
historically
No,
they give us the
no,
money.
it was spelled out in our
right,
ordinance bylaws, that is an option
Exactly.
right.
instead of.
But
We haven't-
unfortunately, we
we
haven't
haven't
been
gone.
using it for that.
We haven't utilized
Well,
that
that's,
option?
that's a
But-
past problem, right?
Yeah.
So, if that's how the developer wants to go, I'm not sure I have a problem with that.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
The
Sherry.
problem is where we are right now.
Sherry, my
capacity
problem is where
flow.
we are, exactly, where we are
That's the
right now.
problem.
What I wanna do is I wanna demonstrate to the EPA that you're not dealing with the past sins.
Correct,
We're doing what we're saying we're doing, but
correct,
I need a break here. I can't get ahead if I'm restricted like this.
correct.
But I wanna demonstrate to them first.
But we can't ask for that break until we can
Right,
say, here's.
because
what
the
we've
other
done.
thing that you don't realize, I've got to go to them by October and say, I need an extension for phosphorus. I'm not gonna make April 25th, that's a given.
Yeah.
So I've got to go to them for that. I don't wanna keep hitting them with this and this and this.
I see an issue I see one issue with overseeing the work. That's gonna cut into the fee a little bit, cause you have to pay somebody to oversee it. If we don't have a superintendent, Weston Sampson or right, somebody has to
Oh,
oversee
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah, no, we
Oh,
are.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
see
Cut into
that.
it a little
Yeah,
bit,
it's
too.
an expense.
Yeah.
I know.
But it's a minimal expense compared to what we could gain if they could remove so much more.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
We can.
But like I said, I just wanna demonstrate that we're in good faith. We're making every
Yes.
attempt we can possible. I don't wanna tell developers no, that's suicide.
Right.
It is.
That's
Right.
absolute suicide.
It's a problem for us.
But the other thing too is I wanna be consistent in a way that I don't want to say, well, you know what, you did it for him, you didn't do it for me.
Well,
I wanna be I wanna be able to,
110%
I wanna be able to say, but here's why we
If
did
the-
that.
If the 40R zoning, if it turns out that that can take preference, it helps everybody who's behind them, because the I&I gets out quicker.
Yes.
And they move up the line quicker,
Absolutely.
so
That's
they're
what
not
my-
really penalized.
No, but that's what my question was to Galvin.
But we
Where
just
does
need to know.
comprehensive permit, senior housing, and that stand?
Right,
What wiggle room do I have?
exactly, if you
And
use the
who's-
money from the
who's
bigger
setting the
development and
precedent?
put them up front, everybody behind them benefits anyway.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, it's just,
You wanna, you
But
wanna
we need
stick
to make
a
sure that
shovel
we
in
can
the
do
ground
that.
right
Who
away,
set-
start digging.
Who sets that precedent?
around
Is that
town.
coming
They
from
all
the
want
state?
to.
Is that coming from the town?
You can't
Is
make
that
money
coming
unless
from
you're,
individual
you know,
board
moving
decisions?
along.
That's what we
I
need
asked
to
what
know.
tons was your select,
hey, you know what? I'm gonna take a motion to end the meeting.
Second.
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Ms. Hutchins,